The complexity, I think, is in understanding the proposal and in making a transition from the current very damaged tax system to this new one. The system itself is really very simple, much simpler than the current tax system, and that's one of the reasons why it's worth undertaking. But there are many reasons. First of all, it completely changes the game in terms of corporate tax avoidance. All the multinationals that go through complicated transactions to move their profits to other countries will no longer be able or have an incentive to do so. And companies that choose to locate their production operations in low-tax jurisdictions in order to move their profits there will again no longer have an incentive to move them away from the United States. So I think it's a simpler tax system. It's one that gets rid of all the problems we have now with multinational tax avoidance, and it encourages companies to locate production in the United States. So for all these reasons, I think it's a big improvement.
Yeah, and of course you say the corporate tax would be assessed based on where a corporation's products are used rather than where the corporation is located or where the goods are produced. That's a key part of your thinking here. Another key part of it, though, seems to me that it would raise a good amount of revenue. How important does that become to this overall debate, given if we don't go that way, the possibility of increasing the deficit would seem to be increased?
That's critical. The border adjustment, which is what makes the tax into one based on destination rather than where production occurs, has been estimated to raise over $1 trillion over the 10-year budget window. That's a very large amount of tax revenue, and if for some reason the border adjustment is dropped from the proposal, it is hard to imagine getting rates down as much as the Congress wants to do without coming up with much less popular ways of raising revenue.
Something else that you also introduced back in this 2010 report was the idea of expensing investment immediately, not depreciating it over time. That also is a part of the House Ways and Means blueprint. Why is that of importance?
It has two advantages. First of all, again, it makes the tax system much simpler because companies no longer have to keep track of their assets and depreciate them over time. They simply write them off when they buy them, and then that's the end of it. But perhaps more importantly, it gives businesses a very strong incentive to invest in plant and equipment in the United States where these provisions apply.
What do you think the chances are that your ideas are actually going to see fruition in the form of legislation?
I'm a better economist than I am a political handicapper, but it obviously has a lot of momentum behind it. I don't take the president's comments as really being that damaging because he said a number of things, and I think as he comes to understand it better, he'll realize that it's consistent with his desire to bring production to the United States.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say it's a big change, so obviously any big change has a lot of things that can stop it along the way.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.